Hi everybody and welcome to Spotlight.
Today, we are in Los Angeles, California, with renowned author Johnnie Greene. In her two-time Christian Literary Award-winning book, Celebrating Me, she shares provocative stories about her own struggles, pain, perseverance, and triumph. And as a result, this has allowed her thousands of followers and fans to begin their own healing process. In fact, her book has started such an uproar that she is constantly being called upon for interviews and book signings all over the world. And now we have her. But before we start, do me a big favor and hit the like button below and subscribe to my channel.
And remember, if you have a small event or a small business that you would like to get more eyes on, give us a call and see what Spotlight can do for you.
The name of my book is Celebrating Me, Embrace Who God Created Me to Be. The reason I wrote the book is because of my life story, and I wanted to tell my life story because I have ran into so many people who are similar to my life story, who are hurting like I was. I was very good at masquerading the fact that I was in pain. The book is about being overweight. We deal with domestic violence, sexual abuse. We're dealing with the loss of loved one. In 2008, when the recession hit, I had a business from 2006 until 2008, and I lost everything. I hit rock bottom. So I know there's a lot of people out there besides me who have had challenges and who have gone through things, who have hit rock bottom. And I thought, what better way to encourage them and to use my life as an example that you can hit rock bottom, but God will bring you back. Anytime that I can be of encouragement to somebody, that's what is sweet about life. My book is for anyone who has ever had any pain in their life, who have had any suffering in their life, who have ever thought that they were a nobody. It's for men and it's for women. And I've learned, because in my book, part 2 is called The Divine Seven. And the Divine Seven is 7 people telling their story of abuse, overweight, and one is a man who is talking about him being overweight. Most people look at it as women being abused, but since the book has been out, and I've had people call me, men and women, telling me their stories. Some of these are my friends, some are strangers that I have met and friended. It's amazing the statistics of men that are being abused. In the last year or so, since my book has been out, with COVID-19, there are so many men, not just women, are being abused. We women, we'll talk about it, but men don't talk about it. I've had one man who was a very successful businessman in Chicago, and he started being molested when he was like 5 years old. And some of the things that he told me, I'm surprised he doesn't really hate women, but he doesn't. There was a lot of hurt and pain. Some of the things he told me was sort of similar to some of the things that Tyler Perry talked about that happened to him. I've had other men who have shared with me. My mother gave me away when I was like 6 months old. I was raised by my grandmother. And back in the South, you shared a bed. A lot of times there was no room for everybody to have their own room. And he was actually molested by his cousin, his male cousin. So now he has an identity crisis of, woman on this side, man on this side. So he's attracted to both because that was his first experience as a young boy. So abuse is abuse. I go back to 1976 when I became the first black female. I was the first black woman to be a supervisor for Harley Davidson motorcycle at 3700 West Juneau Avenue. And when I became that, I wasn't as overweight as I am now, but I was overweight. And it kind of bothered me a lot because I didn't fit the pattern or the mold. At the time, there was only three blacks. There was only three black people in the office there, and I'm successful because I have a department that I'm running. 11 women's on first shift, 6 on second shift, but yet and still I'd go home at night and I didn't feel good about myself. When I was going through my divorce of being abused, and it was just, verbal abuse, it was mentally and emotional, and I was physical abuse. So here I had the abuse of overweight, the abuse of the marriage. I had the hurt of and the pain of looking at myself as not being good enough because I was overweight. So I had a combination of things going on with me. And I know that I'm not the only one. And the reason I know I'm not the only one is because of the fact the other 7 that's in my book are telling their stories about all of the things that happened to them. So abuse is more common than we think it is, because that is not something that people are ready to talk to another person about. I did seek psychiatric help during the time I was going through my marriage because my boss said to me, there's help. You got to tell somebody. And see, I was internally keeping all of that inside. So when you keep all of that inside, it affects your health. It affects your emotion. And Dr. Med has gotten me to realize that when you have all of that you're dealing with and you're not releasing it, you're not telling anybody, it attaches itself to your organs on the inside. That's why we have so much high blood pressure. That's why you have so much diabetes. And it's not what we're eating and putting into our body, it's what's eating us. In writing my book and recording my book and telling my story, that I start to feel better about myself. I start to release because it made me had to face the reality of what really happened to me. Because what I had done, I had pretty much shut myself down. I had put a wall around me so that, I had to shield myself from the pain that I was going through. And so as I went through telling my story, all of that came back. But then after talking to Dr. Med, and she's telling me things, it helped me to release. It helped me to be able to deal with the hurt, the pain. And so because of that, I have actually lost weight. And I have decided and come to the conclusion, it doesn't matter whether the scale says 250 pounds or it says 150. I am somebody. Out of my book, I want people to get that there is hope. I want them to be able to read the book and see that besides myself, part 1, part 2 is 7 other people telling their story. Part 3 is Dr. Med telling, offering up hope that people are healed. I'm believing, because I have a shirt out that says, celebrating me and doing, embracing who God created me to be. And we're hoping that it will become a movement. I'm actually going to leave here in April, going cross country. So if you want me to come speak to your church members, you want me to want to do a book signing or whatever, you can contact me and I will be there. But my thing is, I want the book to bring about healing of the soul, the mind, and the body. If you got the faith of a grain of mustard seed, you can move mountains. And so just keep the faith that some way, somehow, you're going to get release of all that hurt and that pain and the shame, because God's word never fails.